What's up and welcome to another Q&A. This is Noah DeFreitas here and I'm with Noah Fitness and I'm here to answer everything that you want to know for all things bodybuilding. This is my Q&A number 6 and today my co-host Matt Berzicott is feeling a little under the weather, so he won't be in today. So I'm going to take over the questions for today. And the goal of this YouTube video is to help you guys as much as possible, where I'm answering your questions directly from my audience on how I can help you guys get to the next level in your bodybuilding journeys. And I use the term bodybuilding very loosely because I'm a true believer. Anybody who wants to change their body, transform their body in any way, shape, or form, whether it's build muscle mass, lose body fat, you are a bodybuilder. Just like if you play golf and you don't compete in golf tournaments, that doesn't mean you're not a golfer. And a lot of people think if you don't step on stage, you're not a bodybuilder. That's absolutely not true. So anybody who wants to transform their body is indeed a bodybuilder. And I truly believe that's why bodybuilding is one of the most popular, whether you want to call it a sport or a hobby, but one of the most popular things we do in the world. So my goal is to help anybody really see that it is possible to transform your body. I know personally, I thought I was just cursed. I didn't have the right genetics. Sure, I don't have the best genetics or any of that stuff, but when I had the right information and the right guidance, that's when everything changed. That's when I became the best bodybuilder I could be. And that's my goal for you, to help you get past any of your obstacles, answer your questions so that you can be the best version that you can be. So we're gonna start this up. This is session 6, and I have a few questions from you guys. But this means if you enjoy this, please keep asking your questions so I can help you and Matt can help you and any of our special guests can help you get to the next level. And if you want to be a special guest on this show, just let me know so that you can answer your audience directly as well, so we can all help everybody crush our goals. But let me get to the questions here. So the first question we have, this is direct from my audience. This is Dustin Jones. Dustin Jones is asking for recomp advice. So the term recomp is, for those that don't know, it means recomposition. So a lot of us we're familiar with terms like bulking and cutting. So bulking is typically gaining weight, and we made a point last episode that really it's not a great word. Bulking or cutting is losing body fat, and recomping is actually doing a little bit of both. And a lot of people don't think about the recomp because we just don't know that you can do both. You know, there's some people that say that you can't build muscle and lose fat at the same time, when actually you can. So you just have to understand how to do it. And there's a lot of different ways with the recomp. And that's what honestly makes the recomp so complicated, is that it wraps both into the same picture. And you really have to kind of, swing between the lines to make sure that you're not getting too fat, or you're not, losing so much, weight that it taps into your muscle mass. So the question is, what advice do I have on recomposition? So the number one advice is to be very skilled in both cutting and bulking, but a lot of people, you have to start at a recomp, and that's kind of difficult. So the number one thing I would say, if you do want to recomp, is seek guidance right away. A cut is definitely more straightforward. You're going down, you're losing weight, you're trying to get leaner, you're trying to see more definition, you're seeing the scale move down. To gain weight, you're seeing the scale move up. But recomping, you're not seeing the scale do too much, because you're losing body fat and gaining muscle mass. So you have to have a keen eye to understand what's going on. That's a lot to do with photos. So say I have a student and they're recomping, I'm looking at their photos to see what's happening. And do you know who's the worst at looking at our photos? Is ourselves. So when you look at yourself in your photos, you're typically not going to be able to see what's going on. A lot of us, we let it slip. We're like, all right, we're looking good, but then we've actually put on a lot of body fat. Or we think that we're cutting great, but we're in denial that we're losing a ton of muscle mass. So the number one thing I could say, if you're going into the most difficult phase, the recomp, I would get guidance. I would be under a professional supervision for that, get a coach, get somebody who understands how to actually recomp. But beyond that, it's all about checks and balances. You want to make sure that you are gaining muscle mass and losing body fat. So like I said, you need to understand what you're looking for. That's either your photos. So in your photos, are you looking bigger and leaner? Or are you measuring body parts? So like your waist, there's not a lot of muscle mass there. So if you're getting a smaller waist and say a bigger chest at the same time, you're now recomping very well. You're gaining muscle mass and losing body fat. So you have to understand what to do then if you're not seeing those things. So if you see yourself putting on a little bit too much body fat, you're gonna have to start cutting down your calories to lose more body fat. Or if you see yourself losing too much muscle mass, you have to understand, are you getting enough protein? Are you getting enough calories? Are you getting too much of a deficit so that you're not, burning muscle tissue? Are you looking into your training program to see if you're optimizing muscle growth? So that is how you optimize a recomp, is just understanding what your goal is, being able to measure progress, and understanding what to do if you're going in the wrong direction. So Dustin Jones, amazing question. That's a huge topic, but those are the high level details there. If you want any more help there, just go ahead and reach out and ask any questions that you have on a recomp. And that goes for everybody else who has any questions on a recomp. Next question here, Jessica Wargo. So we got another question from Jessica here. Jessica's too awesome for being so engaged. And Jessica, I hope we're driving as much value as possible for you to get you past your goals here. Let's see. Knowing how much weight to use versus how much reps and sets to do. This is an awesome question. So, and what ways to do what muscle groups? So how much weight and how many reps and sets? Let's start there. This is a great question. A lot of people, they don't know how much weight to use. You just, go in there and press as much as you can. Do you hold back? Is it a number? So the key is understanding what your goal is. And when it comes to weight training, it's typically building muscle mass. So you're going to ask yourself, how much weight do I need to use to build muscle mass? Or how many reps to use to build muscle mass? And the good news is that the reps actually take care of the weight. So you're going to start with reps. There's a generally accepted repetition number that's best for muscle growth. It's called hypertrophy. But also you can think about strength. If you want to build more strength, you're going to do less reps. If you want to build just endurance, you're going to do more reps. But the middle ground is kind of the best of both worlds. So that's where I typically say start. Start somewhere. If it is you want to develop your muscle, especially in bodybuilding, you're going to go in the hypertrophy zone, which is about 6 to 12 repetitions. And I like to say, just go between 2 to 4 reps of each other. Like if you want to go more strength, try 6 to 8. If you want to go more hypertrophy, go 10 to 12. And figure out what works best for you. This is where the individual piece. Nobody can just say, do this and it's going to be best. You have to figure it out. And you could be an outlier where 4 to 6 is more the rep range that helps you. Or it's 12 to 15 or 15 to 18. It depends on your body. But I would say use the middle ground as your starting point. So whether it's 6 to 8, 8 to 10, or 10 to 12 reps. Pick one and start there. Now, what weight to use? The beautiful thing is the rep range gives you exactly what weight to use. So what does it mean? Let's use 8 to 10 reps. So all you need to do to find the right weight to lift with is you warm up testing your weights until you get to a weight where you can do 8 reps, but no more than 10 reps. And now you found the perfect weight. As long as you can't do any more than 10 reps and you're not doing less than 8, that's the perfect hypertrophy zone for that rep range. So every single time you go into the gym, you're going to work your way up to where you fall in between those 8 to 10 reps or whatever your rep range is. Now, the question is, how do I progress? This is the best part. is if you're doing everything right, if you're resting correctly, if you're eating correctly, say you use 100 pounds on a bench press and it fell between 8 to 10 reps. You did 8. Then the next week, you do that same 100 pounds, and now you can get 10 reps or more. That's when you know it's time to go up in weight. So then the next time you do bench press, you're going to do, say, 110 pounds or 105 pounds. I typically think a 5% increment each week is something that's relatively attainable. You want to shoot for something like that, but only when you get to the top of the rep range. So once I get to 10 reps or more, I'm now going to add some weight onto the bar. So say now we try 110 pounds, and now we can just only get 8 reps with the 110 pounds. So it's completely valid. We now have the perfect weight between 8 to 10 reps at a higher weight, and that is progression. But there are some guesses and checks. So say you did 110 and you got only 2 reps with it. This means that you're going to have to go to 105 or try 100 again until you get all the way up to the 10 plus mark. And also say you do 110 pounds and you get 15 reps with it. This means that you could probably go up to 115 or 120 pounds. But overall, use that rep range to help you choose what weight. Nobody can choose what weight. Your body is going to be unique even on a week-by-week, day-by-day basis. But if you're using a rep range, you're going to know what's that sweet spot for the muscle growth or the strength or the endurance rep range. So I hope that helps, Jessica. And then the final questions, what days to do what muscle groups? So what I have found the best place to start and what most people recognize is how muscles kind of repair. They typically repair within 72 hours of training a muscle. So you can train your muscles every 72 hours. So if I train chest, 3 days later, I can train chest again. However, I found once you start getting more advanced into training, you actually need to train less because you're causing more muscle damage. So the best place I like to start is 1 week. You train your muscle groups once per week. So if it's chest, I'm going to train chest once per week. But if you do recover a little bit quicker, then go twice per week. If you recover even quicker, then you can even go 3 times per week. But it all depends on recovery. And again, there's nothing you could ever say or do that's going to be, this is the perfect thing for you just off the top of somebody's head. This is where you have to learn your body. Or if you work with somebody, they can learn your body and tell you what's optimal. But the key is recovery. So you're going to hit that muscle, say it's your chest muscles, and you're going to see how long it takes to recover until you can hit that muscle again. Like I said, I start with 1 week. Then if you recover before that, then you can try it twice a week. And if you recover before that, you can try 3 times a week. I haven't really seen anybody recover more than 3 times a week, but there are some freaks out there. So it's all about on your recovery. But I would start with hitting every muscle in your body once per week. And to finalize that, you can break your muscles all the way throughout the week. You can break them all the way through 6 or 7 days. You can do them a full body workout in 1 day. You can break your body top to bottom over 2 days. My personal favorite is push-pull legs. So all of your pushing movements are going to be on 1 day. All of your pulling movements on your upper body are going to be on the next day. And you're going to do both push-pull on your legs, all leg movements on your 3rd day. So push-pull legs is my favorite split for 3 days per week. Awesome question, Jessica. Next question is Russell Cole. So Russell is asking how to tell productive pain from counterproductive pain. Great question. So many people, they get caught up, no pain, no gain, right? This is where you really can get injured. A lot of us, we're kind of into that all or nothing mindset. And if you can get one takeaway that might be the most powerful takeaway that you can get, is all or nothing is absolutely never the answer. There's always some sort of middle ground that you need to find. Sure, you want to be like, pushing the boundaries, but anytime you go 100% into something, you're always setting yourself up for injury, for failure, for any sort of destruction. So never go crazy all 100%, ride the line, 80-20 rule. So when it comes to going all in, no pain, no gain, if you give a lot of pain, clearly you can start setting yourself up for injury potential. But the biggest thing to know about what the right and wrong pain is, the way I like to think of it best, is how far away from the joint is the pain. This is a really easy way to think about it. So, for example, the elbow is an easy one. You got the elbow joint here. If you have a ton of pain inside your elbow joint, you're looking at pain that's less muscular and more tendon damage. Ligaments and tendons are inside the joint. So you don't want to be damaging those because those are the ones that they can rip easily, and they can't take the brunt of the load. So if you're getting any sort of pain into the joint, that's when you know it's probably bad pain. However, if you're getting pain more into the muscle belly, deep into your muscle belly, the odds are the pain is just muscular trauma. And that's going to be less risky. But you can, of course, rip your muscles at the muscle belly. It's just a lot less likely. The key is just making sure you have perfect form. If you have perfect form and you are feeling it in the muscle belly, not in the joints, and you're just progressing over time in a systematic way, you're not going to get injured. Really, weightlifting, bodybuilding, it's such a safe thing to do. You just can't push the limits. If your form is not picture perfect, if you couldn't take a video and feel confident on putting it on Instagram so your friends can see and judge that form, it's bad form. Or if you have to change your body in any other way to get another rep, it's bad form. And there's never, ever, ever a reason to do an exercise in poor form. If you want to get stronger, your nutrition and your rest take care of that. You don't push harder. You always push that 80%. I like 80% because it's limiting injury potential. Push 80%, perfect form, and you should naturally get stronger because your nutrition and your rest took care of that. But if I have to move my body and I'm putting the load into my joints, then I'm going to open up the potential for injury. The easiest way to know good pain from bad pain, like I said, if it's in the joint, it's bad pain, typically 9 times out of 10. But if it's in the muscle and you haven't actually torn the muscle and you've been using perfect form, that's the good pain. And another point is soreness. If you're getting too sore, there's if you're getting, you can be sore for a few days ever so often. That's totally fine. But if you're just chronically debilitatingly sore, you're probably overtraining. You're probably training too many times. Like we talked about, you need to give yourself more rest, and your nutrition is probably lacking. You probably need more protein. You need more vitamins and minerals. So you shouldn't be sore for more than a few days at a time. You shouldn't be debilitated. Sure, after a heavy leg day, typically you're going to have the most soreness. There's the most nerve endings there. So sure, that one you're going to probably feel all the time. But if your lifestyle's really getting encumbered by it, you're probably just overtraining. Okay, the final question here is from Dieter Greenleaf, and he is asking, how to cut while gaining muscle? Great news is this is exactly a recomp. This is what you want to do is you want, in a recomp, you're trying to build muscle while losing body fat. It's not easy to do like we talked about. It's a lot more complex, but you absolutely can do it. It just takes some finesse. No matter what, typically you're going to be in some form of more of a deficit if you're trying to lose a decent amount of body fat while building muscle mass. But the key things here, to make sure that you're optimizing muscle growth. Sure, you want to be in a surplus to gain a lot of muscle mass, but here's how you can optimize it. As long as you are losing body fat and getting stronger, you're typically going to be building muscle mass along with losing body fat. So getting stronger is a key indicator that you're building new muscle tissue. New muscle tissue is often necessary to build strength. Sure, neural connections are a big part of it, but beyond that, it's going to be new added muscle tissue. So if you see yourself getting leaner and then you're getting stronger, that's a good indication. Also, you can do measurements. You can measure your body parts to make sure, say, your chest is getting bigger while your waist is getting smaller, like we talked about. And how you're going to do this is it's a recomp. So you're going to be working the middle ground. You're going to be in either a slight deficit or you're going to break up the day and see where you can optimize muscle growth versus fat loss intraday. And that's another strategy. So you're going to stack the majority of your calories around your workouts for muscle repair, and you can start to limit your calories when you're more sedentary. And that's a great way to do it. But you don't have to get that complicated. One key is keeping protein high enough that you are repairing muscle tissue, that you're optimizing muscle repair and growth. So making sure you're getting adequate protein during the day, and then also being in just a slight deficit so that you are losing body fat over time. But if you're getting stronger, that added protein is going to be used for building muscle tissue. So Dieter, amazing question there. I hope that helped. If you have any more questions on how to recomp, just again, please comment below. But those were the questions for the day. And if you guys like this at all, if this was helpful, please subscribe right now. I know I'm new, but I really believe that it can help a lot of people. I've been doing this for over 15 years. I've been working under some of the top minds in the industry, endless hours of research, working with hundreds of clients. So this is where I want to give back, because I truly felt like I was cursed. For over a decade, I felt like I just was never going to be the best bodybuilder I could be, but it was due to a lack of information. And it's not just any information. It's the information to help you specifically. And this is why your questions are so crucial, because if I can answer that specific question for you and you can get to the next level, you now have the answer for you, not what Google is telling you, but for you. And that's where I think I can truly give back. So if you enjoy this, please let me know what other questions or topics I could cover. Invite more people to watch this. If you have any special guests that you'd like me to invite, just let me know. And I appreciate you guys a ton, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.